G'day guys, Matt here. This is the new Kia Tasman Ute, the brand's first ever dual cab ute. So let's talk about it in this review. I'll tell you the stuff you need to know and I'll let you know whether you should be excited for it or not. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's take a look at the Tasman. Okay, this one here is the X Pro top spec 4x4 focused model. You can see for yourself it does have a few of those off-roady features that you will love if you're into your rough and tumble trucks. Things like these 17-inch wheels with all-terrain tyres. My big issue with this design personally is that look at where these lights are, and if you are an off-roader, look where they sit. If you are going off-road and finding some bushes to bash, I think you might find that you will potentially have some issues with headlight collisions with those sorts of brushes and so forth. Let me just also call out that even with the Aussie design bull bar, the light is still rather exposed. Interesting. It's also got a snorkel, it's got a big platform on top for plenty of load, and you can also get a rooftop tent fitted as well. There's a sports bar here as well, and a tub liner too for this particular vehicle. Righto, so just have a look at this rear design. This tailgate is very, very bold. That Kia emblazoned into the metalwork, that is one of the largest badges on any vehicle ever made. It says Tasman underneath as well. You can't really tell because it is black, and obviously that's probably a decision that the brand has made for these particular vehicles. All right, let's have a look in the tub and see what we are working with. So you've got a soft close and soft open tailgate, which is handy. If you've been on the tools all day, you will appreciate just having a bit of an easier opening and shutting. Yes, it does have enough space between the wheel arches for a pallet, which is great to see. Some great features in the back as well. You've got lighting, you've got some security points to tie things in. You've also got a power point on this side. Let's see if it opens. Yes, it's nicely covered from weather and elements, which is great. And also, yes, the soft closed tailgate too. Underneath you'll get a spare wheel, and don't pay too much attention to the springs of this model. They are not to production spec, and you've got recovery hooks underneath as well, which is great to see. Plus these steps on the side so you can get in and out of the tray a little bit easier. And this particular model does have a roller shutter electrically controlled as well, which will be offered as an accessory. Pretty handy tech, and there'll be plenty of other accessories for the tub as well. Over here there's a storage section on top of this wheel arch. It's only quite small, and I don't know what you're really going to use it for, but I guess there's something you can put in there, and it's only a 6 kilo capacity. It does seem like a bit of a strange decision considering it doesn't actually do that much. Righto, check out this one. This is a cab chassis version of this vehicle. There's going to be 4x2 and 4x4 models in cab chassis spec, and yes, this one also has some Aussie designed features. So this one has an Aussie bull bar that has been specifically made for our market because obviously animal strike is unfortunately a big issue for our market now. There's recovery points down below, as you would expect. Looks like it's going to be set up to cop a light bar as well, and there's a snorkel fitted to this model. Steelies, these platform style side steps as well, and at the back, yes, it does have a nice looking tray on the back as well, but just look at where it sits. It's quite high, so if you're a shorty, loading things up and in might be a bit of a task. And also just have a look at that recess. It kind of reminds me of the Toyota HiLux Champ in terms of the design, very boxy, and maybe that's something you can expect from the new generation HiLux when it comes out. But yes, the tray itself is a decent size. Obviously it is a pretty standard dual cab size cab chassis tray, but it's also got some features that will probably be offered on production spec versions, including a sliding drawer system underneath. That's probably why it sits up so high. You've also got the tradie friendly elements like a pump down there for your soap, and also a water tank as well. Lots of tie down points too. It looks like a pretty out of the box style tray finish, and it does have quite a high bar on it as well. So yes, it's maybe not the most beautiful thing in terms of the cab chassis, but I actually think it's the most appealing because it really does look ready for work. And hey, I'm going to also show you a couple of images of the single cab model, which is confirmed for Australia. You'll see them on your screen now, and it looks fantastic in my opinion. Very tough. Under the bonnet of the Kia Tasman is a 2.2 litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, and yes, the outputs are lower than some of the other rivals in this segment. You'll see them on your screen now, and you can have your say in the comments as to whether that's going to be enough or not. On paper, it doesn't look great, I have to say, but on paper, it can do 3.5 ton towing, so who knows? It's got an 8-speed automatic transmission. There is a low-range gearing function for this vehicle as well. Yes, it's got a low-range transfer case, and it's also got an electronic diff lock as well as a regular diff lock in the high-grade Model 2. So, fuel consumption is another consideration. The brand says it should be around 7.5 litres per 100 is the target for this diesel engine, but we aren't going to get the turbo petrol model which is sold in other markets, unfortunately, but we might see some hybrid or plug-in hybrids later on. So the brand has said that it will have a 1,000 kilo plus payload for most versions of this vehicle. In fact, more than 1,100 kilos for some. And look, that is pretty competitive, I have to say. But if you're thinking, well, what if I want to lease one? Well, there will be a sub 1,000 kilo payload version available at some point to meet the needs of people looking for a lease on a Kia Tasman. All right, here we have the interior of the Kia Tasman, and yes, Luke Longley can fit in this car. That gives you an idea of how spacious the cabin is, and it's like no other ute in its segment, in my opinion. Just have a look at some of these finishes. You've got this beautiful square-shaped steering wheel, which I really like. It's got all the controls in the right spots. You can see for yourself, you've got nice, easy to manage dials and buttons on both sides. Down there is your gear selector, just like most other vehicles in the Kia new generation model range. You've also got drive mode and terrain mode selectors down there. And up here is a 12.3 inch driver info screen with plenty of info there by the looks of things. Doesn't look like there's a head-up display available for this vehicle, which might be a bit annoying for some, but here is another 12.3 inch screen, touchscreen media system with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and between them is a 5-inch climate panel, which is unfortunately a little bit obscured from view when you have the steering wheel positioned correctly. You can see right there, there's going to be a driver monitoring camera system. Sorry about the beep beep, the battery's running out, so I just want to keep the lights on for a couple more minutes. Here you'll find a panel of media controls as well. There's a volume scroller and buttons down below for your climate control, which is handy if you have gloves on. It will mean they'll be easier to interact with the climate controls rather than going through a screen. There's dual wireless phone chargers, USB-C ports as you'd expect, a pair of decent sized cup holders, plenty of controls down here as well, including your 4-wheel drive management system, and also some dimensions, which is really great to see. And there's another drive mode selection system down there, diff lock as well, a covered center console bin too, which is fantastic. And underneath there, you'll also find more dimensions, more info, so you can make sure that you don't bump into anything. And this also turns into a little workstation, which is really, really handy if you're on the laptop, on the work site, and you just need to get those invoices sent. I can relate. Okay, so otherwise it is a very nice looking cabin, nice seating position, nice seats themselves, ambient lighting as well. But let's take a look at the back seat space and see what it's like. Before we do though, these are lovely. These are fantastic door handles. I get excited about little things like that. Righto, so sitting in front of me is someone about my height, and yes, I do have enough space in the back here to be relatively comfortable, I gotta say. Enough knee room, foot room is okay. It's not quite a class leader in terms of the space, but it does have some really nice amenities and finishes. There's a little pocket up here. In this particular version, there's a zipper pocket as well to keep things secure and out of the way. There's some vents down here, and of course, you've got another power point down there too. USB ports are plenty, which is also good to see. ISOFIX points as well, and a flip down center area with cup holders. And this seat can also recline and slide, so it will be a pretty comfortable option for families or just tradies who want to treat their apprentices nicely. So, do you think it's a nice interior or not? Is it the best part of this ute? I think it could be. Now, it hasn't been crash tested yet, but the brand says that it will be putting it through its paces in 2025, and the target is 5 stars, obviously, in the ANCAP testing. It's got autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection. There's also lane keeping, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, all the little safety aids that you would expect, a driver monitoring camera system, speed sign recognition, and also you can expect it to have a surround view camera in some grades. It's not confirmed whether it'll be offered across the range, but with an off-road camera mode as well for the more hardcore models. So it looks like it's going to be pretty well stacked when it comes to the anti-stack stuff. So there you have it, the Kia Tasman Ute. I think that in some ways it stacks up really well, but hey, tell me what you think about it in the comments section below. Do you like the styling? Are you looking forward to seeing these on Aussie roads? And what price should it be? I'd love to know your thoughts. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe and ring that bell. I'll see ya when I see ya.